Chapter 4, Michael Jordan. MJ knows he's not the focus on offense for the Spartans, and maybe not even a second or third option in the minds of his teammates. But that doesn't matter to him. He still holds on to a scorer's mentality, that he can drain any open shot if he puts himself in the right spot or the ball bounces his way. On Michigan State's first possession of overtime, Malcolm jukes left with his dribble. When Rocco commits in that direction on defense, Malcolm jets back to his right, where MJ mans the corner. MJ steps back, giving Malcolm plenty of room to operate. Rocco throws his legs into high gear to catch up. MJ sees Baby Bear step squarely in front of Rocco to set a screen. As the Croatian runs into that brick wall of flesh, the Trojan guarding MJ darts after Malcolm, leaving MJ wide open for a mid-range jumper. Instantaneously, MJ feels his mouth go dry and the sweat starting on his palms. Planting his feet firmly on the floor, MJ extends his hands forward, waiting for the ball. Malcolm sees him. His eyes look right into MJ's, but the pass never comes. Instead, Malcolm forces up a shot with two defenders closing in on him. In a heartbeat, MJ pushes through the curtain of curse words in his mind as he rushes towards the rim to rebound Malcolm's miss. The ball hangs in the air, right in front of MJ. But just as he reaches for it, Baby Bear comes barreling to the rim from behind. The pair battle for the same rebound, with the ball going off MJ's leg and out of bounds. The ref points directly at MJ, slapping at his pant leg. Then he thrusts an arm towards the opposite basket like a sucker punch to MJ's midsection, awarding Troy possession. "Don't dog your own teammate for the rock," Malcolm explodes at MJ. "You're balling for our team, not theirs. Get your head out." Baby Bear has the same snarling look for MJ, minus the sharp words. MJ sucks it all up and swallows that tongue lashing. He's not about to fight with his teammates, not while he's still trying to find his place on the court. Then MJ heads back on defense, muttering, "It's about all trust, Malcolm. Just pass me the ball when I'm open. That's all." So as a reminder, MJ is normally kind of like a bench warmer guy. He's not a starter, but because they've had a few people foul out, he is playing here in overtime. And just like we've seen in the past chapters and got a feeling for Malcolm, he's not a team player. He's all about number one. He's all about himself. And we have MJ in this chapter wide open. Okay, Malcolm can pass him the ball perfectly, and he has a wide open shot, and yet Malcolm chooses not to pass him the ball, and instead is selfish and takes the shot himself, and he misses. And then when MJ is trying to get the rebound, right, there's kind of chaos going on, and he's going against his own teammate for it, and it ends up going out of bounds, and Malcolm is upset at him. But if Malcolm truly was a team player and had passed the ball to MJ, right, that wouldn't have happened. On a cable sports network providing live updates from the Final Four. Announcer: There's no doubt that many of you are familiar with this iconic name. Maybe you're not so familiar with the Michigan State player who currently bears it in college basketball. He's normally a reserve, spending most of his time on the bench. But due to a pair of Spartans fouling out earlier tonight, junior Michael Jordan is seeing important minutes on the court as I speak. Let's get to know him better through an encore presentation of Rachel Adams' award-winning interview series, One-on-One. On screen, Rachel Adams, screen left, holding a small pile of index cards, and Michael Jordan, screen right, are sitting on stools facing each other. Erected between them is a life-size cardboard cutout of the famed Michael Jordan, with one hand on his hip in a Superman pose and a basketball tucked beneath the other arm. In the background is a darkened gymnasium basketball court. Rachel Adams: Tell me honestly, what's it like for a basketball player to grow up with the name Michael Jordan? Michael: It can be hard, real hard. How can I explain it? I guess it would be like if your name was Oprah and you had one of those TV talk shows. How could you ever measure up? Adams laughs. It's probably harder on me having the name Michael Jordan, glancing over at the cardboard cutout, because I love the game of basketball so much, since I was a little kid. Adams: So it's safe to say that there was a lot of pressure involved, a lot of unrealistic expectations? Michael: Think about it. I had this name to deal with even before I really learned how to play basketball. When I was like 7 years old and couldn't reach the rim yet with a shot, people were saying, "Hey, your name's Michael Jordan. You're not supposed to miss." That's pressure. I'd eat breakfast every morning and a guy with my name was on the Wheaties box. If I grew up playing chess or piano, it probably wouldn't matter. People wouldn't make such a big deal out of it. They'd never say, "There goes Michael Jordan to his piano lesson. He must play piano as great as the real Michael Jordan plays basketball." It probably wouldn't come into their minds. Adams: But Michael, pointing a finger at him, you are the real Michael Jordan, right? There's nothing fake about you. I mean, it is your name. Michael: That's true. I have to remember that. Thanks for reminding me. I am the real MJ, pinching himself on the arm. Yeah, that's me, the only Michael Jordan I know. At least I've still got my hair, looking at the bald image of Jordan. It's the one thing I do have over him. Adams, what do you think people expect from you because of that name? Michael, I think they expect me to dominate every basketball game I play in, that I'm going to score a lot of points and win championships. Oh yeah, and that I'm going to dunk on everybody all the time. Screen cuts to a famous clip of Michael Jordan dunking from the free throw line during an NBA All-Star Game dunk contest. Or people are going to come up to me and ask, is Michael Jordan your father? Are you his son? That's always a good one. Adams, what do you tell them when they ask, is Michael Jordan your father? Michael, I mostly say, I wish Michael Jordan was my father, because that means my father would still be alive. Don't get me wrong, I love my mom, but she got remarried a few years back to a guy with 3 kids of his own, all younger than me, so she's been busy helping to raise them. It got a little lonely sometimes, like I'd been forgotten. So I'd sit and wonder what it would be like if my dad were still here. As heartfelt music begins to play, on screen appears this Michael Jordan shooting alone in a gymnasium, wearing a green Michigan State Spartans warm-up jersey. Rachel Adams' voice is heard over the video. Adams, in truth, this Michael Jordan never really knew his father. Anthony Jordan split up with Michael's mother, Justine, several months after Michael was born. A few months later, Anthony Jordan was killed in a car accident. Before he left Michael's life, he gave his son the name of his athletic hero. He also left behind a box with some possessions, among them an old basketball. That ball became one of young Michael's favorite things to play with. The broadcast cuts back to the interview. Michael, I dribbled the ball around everywhere growing up. I played with it so much the grips wore off it and it became all smooth. I still have the ball at home. I let my step-siblings touch it, but they're not allowed to take it out of the house. I'll probably keep it forever. Adams, interestingly enough, I understand Michael Jordan isn't your hero. Michael, no, President Barack Obama is. He's my hero. Adams, tell me why, Michael. Michael, well, besides being the first black president, I read that Barack Obama only met his father a few times because his dad was working as a diplomat in another country. Obama met him one Christmas when his father was visiting the U.S. I know that he got a basketball as a present. So President Obama is sort of like me. We both got basketballs to remember our fathers by. Anyway, we're both left-handed, and I've seen some of the president's game on the news clips. It's kind of like mine, scrappy, with a little bit of a jump shot. So he's being interviewed here by this woman because, yes, there is so much pressure when your name is Michael Jordan and you decide to play the game of basketball because people are always going to compare you with the famous Michael Jordan. And when he talks about that, he says, I wish I was related to him. I wish Michael Jordan was my dad because that means my dad would still be alive. His dad died when he was quite young, and all he has to remember his dad by basically is this basketball he gave him when he was a little kid that Michael still has. And Michael says, I'm going to keep that basketball forever. When asked about who his true hero is, he says it's Barack Obama. He says, Barack Obama was the first black president, that he didn't really know his dad very well either. He also got a basketball from his father as a present, and that they both have like a little bit of a scrappy game going on. And so he says, that's who my role model is, not the famous Michael Jordan. Adams, and do you realize what happens, Michael, if your Michigan State Spartans win the national championship? Michael, yeah, the team will get invited to the White House to meet President Obama, a smile appearing on his face. Adams, what will you say to President Obama? Would you tell him about all the similarities in your lives? Michael, nah, he wouldn't want to hear all that. I'd probably just want to shake his hand and maybe take a picture with him. Adams, if this Michael Jordan magically came to life, glancing at the cutout, what would you say to him? Michael, I'd say how all of his success has made it rough for me. I don't think he'd have much sympathy, though. He's a super tough competitor. He'd probably just tell me to work harder at everything. Adams, Michael, you're not a starter on the Michigan State team, and you more than likely won't be turning pro. What do you want to do after graduation? Michael, I'm majoring in media and communications. Maybe one day I'll have a job like yours. So this interview could be a good practice for me, on-the-job training. Adams, now, Michael, I have to ask you this last question. If you ever had a son, would you name him Michael Jordan? Michael, I don't know. Rests his cleft chin in the palm of his right hand. I can't really call it. Not if he ever wanted to be a basketball player. I wouldn't. Broadcast cuts back to the studio announcer. It is reported that Hall of Famer Michael Jordan is at the Final Four in New Orleans this weekend to see his alma mater, North Carolina, play in the second semifinal game tonight against Duke. So far, there's no word on whether the two Michael Jordans have gotten the opportunity to meet each other.